Greetings to all and sundry, Chancellor North Wales here. This is another build, the KP 1/72nd scale, Yak-23, NATO codename Flora. This build is something I built about a month or so ago, and having a little bit of a catch up here again. Picture of the aircraft at one of the outdoor collections. The Yak-23 was an early Soviet jet fighter with a straight wing, and was developed from the Yak-17 and the Yak-15 in the late 1940s, and used a reverse engineered copy of a British jet engine, the same sort of engine that powered Gloucester Meteors and de Havilland Vampires. It was not built in large quantities, as it was inferior in performance to the swept-wing Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-15. Many Yak-23s were exported to the Warsaw Pact nations and remained in service for most of the 1950s, although some were still in use a decade later in the 1960s. Nice to see a picture of an aircraft like this in a bit of a formation flight, and you can see the general arrangement with the engine exhausting out underneath the pilot. There is one in Hungarian markings at a collection. Now, what I like about this cutaway drawing is that you can see the engine was located in front of the pilot, fuel tank then in front of the pilot as well, and a rather interesting configuration by today's standards. But you can very much see how the Russians took a gradual transition from piston engine designs through to jet engines. It's a design approach I really do like about Russian engineering. Step-by-step progressive designs. Now, this is the kit I got a few years ago at the Cosford Model Show. I think I spent maybe £5 on it, not much. It's an old kit from KP Models. It's an old basic kit on 3 spar sprues with raised panel lines. The decals are simple but were of reasonable quality. The plastic was quite hard, and there was a fair bit of flash that needed cleaning up. The cockpit tub is a simple but passable affair, and with a bit of extra detailing it goes together okay. I added masking tape, seat belts, dry brushing, just made the details pop a bit. Didn't really need that much work to be passable through the thick glass. Normally I tend to just accept raised panel lines, but with this project I decided to rescribe all the surface details to varying degrees of success. Not one of the easiest approaches for me, not something I would normally do, but I decided to give it a go. It required a fair bit of filling and sanding as expected, and I used Deluxe Products putty. Lost detail was re-scribed. Again, it was one of these slightly cyclic affairs. The black lines you can see there were the marker pens that I used to help me with the rescribing process, and just visually draw out the lines, helping me see where I've been and what I needed to do. The undercoat was Tamiya X1 gloss black. This revealed some seams and flaws, and there was some refilling and sanding as can be imagined, but it provided a good base that really benefited the metallic coat afterwards. The main painting was Vallejo Beryllium 77.702, applied in multiple thin layers. To add contrast, I used Games Workshop metallics, such as mithril silver and bolt gun metal, on a number of panels. Panel lines were accented with pencil. I wanted to avoid using Flora modeller's wash in this case, so as not to, in the rubbing process, not to damage things. Despite their age, the decals went on quite well and settled very nicely. I decided to go for the check markings. There were no red stars with this one, so I think just Czech and Polish. But I like them, and it was nice to get the orientation right this time. The final touch was adding aerials from fishing line, and that was secured with super glue. I must admit, yeah, they're on. I'm glad they're on, but I got the tension wrong. So there it is, finished. A nice, simple, straightforward build. Probably took me too long at the build rate I was at, but I like how it turned out. And as you'll see in later pics, it does have its place within the collection. The lines there are quite visible. If anybody knows a way of tightening nylon fishing line when it's used for rigging and aerials, please let me know. Somebody suggested putting Tamiya adhesive on it, the extra thin, but that didn't have any effect. So somebody can suggest a way of tightening aerials and riggings when you're using nylon fishing line in a way that's going to be fairly safe. Please let me know. There we have it as part of the collection, along with the Yak-15 and the Yak-17. And you can see there the progression in the configuration, going from the basic tail wheel arrangement to a nose wheel arrangement. They're a nice set of aircraft, and I really like their historical place and historical perspective. This was a fun little build as a contrast after the big Tu-22. I like seeing what can be done with older kits. If this one put up a fight, it was on the level of a somewhat miffed kitten. The aircraft is another sub-variant of the Yak-23 and helps fill out the collection. If you see this kit at a model show or online, it's worth getting, but it's not worth spending silly money for it. There are a growing number of far better Yak-23 kits out there in various scales. I've seen some 132nd scale kits and 148 scale kits, and some other decent 172nd scale kits, so get it, but there's better out there. So thank you for watching. Happy modelling. God bless. This is Chancellor North Wales signing out. As always, I claim no copyright over the reference photos I use, and the music is from royalty-free providers such as YouTube. So till the next video, guys.